This week on the Lost Gardens of Chateau de Rosieres, we're going to be showing you the start of a fascinating glasshouse project. When Hervé the stonemason finished repairing the terrace wall from episode 8, he moved on to work with Mark on an ambitious plan that Mark has to turn a disused water tank into a technical room and working greenhouse for his ever-expanding plant and produce projects. We'll be following their progress over many months, so please be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on so that you don't miss any videos. Down to the southeast side of the chateau, beside the old entrance arch and at the top end of the massive stone wall that you saw Mark and Hervé repairing, lies an old cistern. It's partially buried underground and used to be used to store water. We tried to return it to use, but it proved too leaky and had other logistical problems, so Mark came up with an ingenious plan to transform rather than destroy it. Several years ago, Mark rescued the metal structure of a greenhouse that was being demolished, and it has been lying in the grass ever since. Mark's idea is to open a door into the old cistern so that it can be used as a technical house, and then set up the greenhouse on the south-facing side of it. First they will build a small wall, then fix the metal ribs of the greenhouse into this wall and against the southern cistern wall, and finally add new glass panes. This is a very ambitious plan, but if he can pull it off, then it will transform our ability to propagate plants for the estate and to start our growing season earlier. This week, we will be showing you how we made crucial design decisions and tackled obstacles in creating our own plans for the buildings. The first thing we need to do is to dig a trench to lay the foundations for the small wall that we're going to be putting the metal ribs into.
So we had a bit of a surprise while digging the foundations here.
Yeah.
Because when I dug this, it was in the winter and we had a really dry winter. So I hit a harder layer and I thought it was the bedrock. And so when I tried to dig the foundations for the greenhouse, after all the rain we had in the spring, it was actually really soft soil, which means that Hervé will need to pour a concrete foundation for the cellar, and it makes me wonder whether we shouldn't actually change the levels a little bit. And possibly maybe lower the glass house and do a bit more leveling on this part of the garden. Basically, my idea, we could check all of that with an optical level because we need to line up with the inside of the cistern.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't matter if there was a couple of steps.
No, it wouldn't, but it's better if there's no step in case you need to have a wheelbarrow or something. In general, it's a lot easier if we can have it all level.
Yeah. I've got a couple of questions.
Yes.
Will there be a door going in and out from the glass bit, or will you have to always come in through that?
No, I think my plan was to have just a single door, probably around here, so that because there will be two-sided glass, so two sides of glass here and here, which means that it will get the morning sun, and there will be two walls which will keep the heat. So I wouldn't center the door because all winter this little corner will be much warmer than the edges. So I want to keep as much working space in that area as possible. And in order to keep the heat, I wouldn't put a door inside.
Even a glass door?
No, I don't think so, because it makes drafts and things, and we'll be able to access it quite easily. So we'll have one door here. And one door on the inside.
So then you definitely do need to be able to, even if it's a ramp, which would be possible. And my other question is, my other point is, you want to make sure you don't undermine anything like those walls, so you don't know how deep they go. It might be worth trying to have a little scrape down the wall and see how low that goes. Because if this was actually, it may have been that this was much lower if the terraces were a different height before. And then the other thing I would say is just have a look at the level of the, you can have a look at the level of the other terrace, because if you're going to bring everything down to that level, it would make a lot of sense, like you're saying, to take this all down a bit further so that it puts you on a level with that terrace.
Yeah.
But I think all your answers will come from how far the walls go down.
I think the walls go down far enough, because everywhere around here, when they built walls like this, they would usually dig the bedrock. The idea would be to take all the level, everything down to roughly this level.
Okay. Everything down to here,
Yeah. So before we do any more groundwork on around the greenhouse, I would like to get an idea of what the levels are. And for that, I'm using the optical level. So I'm going to I'm taking a reference point on the lower terrace, and then I'll measure my relative levels from it. Now I'm level. Amy, are you happy to make a drawing, or would you like to hold the pole?
No, I'm happy to do a drawing, because I'm with Clément, so...
So Margot and I are doing the measuring.
Okay.
So I need the pole in here.
Don't cover it up after me.
Put a heavy stone. Okay, I'll just take the ladder off. Try not to bang it too much if possible. So that will be our base point.
Right, inside the cistern.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just at the right mark, roughly this corner over here. And so I'll tell you the levels, and you write them on the plan.
So levels as in, so I'll draw a bird's eye view like that?
What I'd like to do basically is one profile going through here to this wall, between this wall and the bottom, and one profile on the other to see the ground level.
Yeah, okay.
Can you hold it? I need it towards me like this, please.
You need it like that?
Yeah, it will be easier if your arms are further apart like this, I think. Yeah.
$3.18, is that the level of where Margot is stood?
Yeah.
Right. In this
Okay.
corner here.
Yeah.
3.18.
Yeah. Then I'd like a point here. Just cover this so Amy doesn't fall in it.
A centimeter or two.
So it's the point just across where it was in the hole. 295.
That was exactly on the corner, was it?
Yeah. In line with
In
the
line
corner.
with that one, yeah.
Then here. So this one is in line with the trench. 343. And then I'd like one in line with this wall.
So I totally did this wrong.
422.
Yep.
Then I'd like one, so in line with the wall and in line with me.
Ha, what's that?
404.
Okay. Up and round and round and round.
100.
Well, now I've got the measurements, I can go and draw a profile and a bird's eye view of that whole area, and we can look at the levels to make our decisions about where we do the entrances in and out of the technical room and the greenhouse, and whether we need to do any more levelling, because it's quite hard. It's all up and down and it's inside something that we don't actually know exactly what it looks like, and hopefully this will help us make our decisions, especially before Hervé gets back later.
One last thing I'm going to do is map the inside of the tank and a bit of the outside to have a 3D model in complement of what we just did with the profiles. And for that I have a really nice tool, which is Amy's phone, that has a LiDAR, which is basically a laser scanner that measures distances and takes pictures at the same time and gives a 3D model of any object. So I'm going to do the inside of the tank and ask Margot to take the ladder off so it's not on the map. And now I'm going to do a scan of the outside. I'm mapping the tree at the same time. So now we have the measures and the 3D model, and we're going to be able to do some thinking on paper and decide on the final plans of the greenhouse. There are a couple of things we know we're doing, like trenches, where we put the arches and things, but we can decide on the final levels or where the wall should be and how we will landscape around the cistern and the greenhouse as well.
So what my drawing from our measuring has shown, and your LiDAR, is that there's a pretty big slope inside the cistern, isn't there?
Yes.
Which obviously was so that it would drain properly. Mm-hmm. But that's not great if you want to stand shelves and things, is it? And have everything
Better
level.
if it's flat.
I mean, you could still keep a gentle slope because that can help drain when you need to wash, but not that much. And this is more like 2025, we think, isn't it?
I thought I came back earlier by myself to have a think
in place.
with having the measurements.
And without children screaming around you.
So my view now would be to have a door just here at the end of the cistern where it's the lowest, which means that we won't need to do too much leveling on this part. And also looking at it like this, we have another dip here. So it would just mean basically equalizing
from here.
the slope along here and making a nicer, more regular slope on this
Is
bit.
that not really difficult for Hervé to put a door that close to the edge?
No,
without the side
as long as
pulling
it's
it out?
no, as long as it's further than the wall, it's not a problem.
Okay. And but then what are you going to do about equalising the height inside? Are you going to align it
And
with?
so yeah, I think it can be done later on. Actually, what we need to begin with is to have the final level of where the greenhouse will be standing.
Yeah.
Which means building the wall, the two bits of wall, because the final level inside the greenhouse can be whichever we like. So basically, we'll have a little wall. A little wall down the bottom, and the final level can be anywhere between the base of the...
Yeah. So you basically, because you're not going to need a door in and out of here, because the only door is going to be into there, is that right? So yeah, you can just build a wall around it and then choose the levels on both sides.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah, I get that. That makes sense. Cool. Oh, well then Hervé's happy, we're happy. And I've got a much better sense of this and what it looks like and what the plan is then.
And also what we will do is only put the metallic frames and the glass when everything else is done. My other thought is that once it's a working greenhouse with all in working order, what we could do is actually put some cold frames at the front.
You said that, yeah.
And so it will involve putting another wall just a bit further. Hervé is pouring the foundations for the new greenhouse, and he's making a big concrete slab at the base to hold it very straight, because as a glass house is really heavy because of the weight of the rotaron and the weight of the glass. We can't afford it to have any movement if the soil moves, and so he's building a very reinforced foundation so that we have a perfectly strong frame for the glass house. Conveniently, we just broke the slab in the cellar. Which was an ugly concrete slab we were taking off anyway, and so I ended up with a lot of broken concrete in a big pile. So I'm going to use this to put in the trench, and Hervé will pour some concrete over it. That's going to be fine for this trip, and I'll probably need to do another one later.
Yeah.